everybody, my name is Charles, and today we are going to be rating scenes from films depicting jazz. I don't know what these scenes are going to be. Jake has already taken care of all that, and he's got a whole list of things set up for me to look through. These are my on-the-spot thoughts at how I think it's portrayed and if it's accurate to real life. The first film that we're going to take a look at is Whiplash. Now, I remember when this one came out, it was very polarizing, and a lot of people in the music community, especially the jazz community, didn't really like it. To be honest, I've never actually watched the whole movie. Let's take a look.
5, 6, and.
Once the groove comes in, I mean, it sounds kind of fine.
Got Buddy Rich here. Little trouble there. Let's pick it up at 17.
That was a really weird place to do that. There was no reason to stop that. Didn't sound like a problem at all.
5, 6, and.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
5, 6, and.
Oh no! The count off 5, 6, and there's like an extra 3/4 of a beat.
5, 6, and.
It's not where the 1 would have actually been, because the tune Whiplash is in 7, right? So it would have been 5, 6, 7, 1. Counting a tune off in 7 is usually not something that you do, especially something like this. You'd probably still count it. You'd probably still count it like in 4, even though everybody knows like once you start playing it is in 7. It's kind of just jarring and weird to go 5, 6, and you probably wouldn't see that.
Not quite my tempo. Here we go. 5, 6, and.
I've never seen a conductor do this and all the sound just stops like he's got a volume knob.
You're rushing. Here we go.
What? That wouldn't have happened. What was that?
5, 6, and. Dragging.
The trumpet. None of this would happen. You don't get into these stutter competitions with the band director for just something as simple as a count off.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head?
Yeah, it makes good film. I think people who liked this film were definitely of the mindset that like, you know what though, it's a great movie. And I get that, but in terms of accuracy, I've never in my life been in a situation with a band leader that is violently confrontational about tempo. Maybe people have experiences in bands that are whacked like this, but not in my experience. So in terms of accuracy, I would probably give it like a 3 out of 10. Being hilarious? 10 out of 10. Moving on.
I told you that story about how Charlie Parker became Charlie Parker, right?
Joe Jones threw a symbol at his head.
Exactly.
The way I understand it, the story is that Charlie Parker did not sound particularly good at this jam, and Joe Jones tossed a cymbal towards him at his feet, being like, all right, man, like, that's enough. You gotta go get it together.
So imagine if Jones had just said, well, that's okay, Charlie. That was all right. Good job. There are no 2 words in the English language more harmful than good job.
I don't know that I've ever encountered somebody who is quite as intense as this character. And the point is interesting, which is, without being pushed, how does somebody find their true potential? I definitely don't agree that good job are the 2 most dangerous words in the English language. I mean, I can think of quite a few that are probably a little more dangerous. But I understand the point that the character's trying to make here. There's some validity to it, just maybe not quite this insane and intense. I understand what he's saying. In terms of encountering this type of personality in the real world, not only would I be very shocked if I ever found somebody quite like this, I would make sure to always steer clear of them, and that person would probably almost never work because everyone would hate being around them. Not particularly accurate. And as I understand it, the majority of this movie, for most musicians, seems to fall into that category. Next up, we have a couple of scenes from Soul.
1, 2, 3, 4, stay on the beat. 2, 3, 4.
First of all, there's no way that in this particular context that the drummer would sound as together as the drummer sounds in the background of this clip. That's pretty hilarious. But what is this? Middle school? Probably pretty accurate.
That's in sharp horns. 2.
That is hilarious. I don't think that's physically possible. You tried to suck Skittles up through a trumpet. It's not like an open tube all the way to the mouthpiece, but that would have been sick if you could.
See you, Caleb. Cut it, go for it.
You know, I hate to say it, but the dude on the phone in the middle of the tune, that's pretty accurate, even in like conservatory. They're laughing at her because she was just like getting super into it. In middle school, that's pretty accurate.
But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force on it. And then with a minor, I was, whoa.
He's playing a D flat there, which is not the chord that we're hearing. It's more of a G minor 9 sound. G minor 11. That's a pretty voicing.
But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force.
Okay, so this is the part I don't understand. He plays this,
And then with a minor, I was, whoa.
and he says with the minor, this is a major 7th chord. Nothing minor about that.
That's the last place I wanted to be. But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force on it. And then with a minor, I was, whoa.
Beautiful voicings. G minor 11. I think it's just an F minor 7. E flat major 7. This chord is interesting. You could call it like a B flat. Like an add 9 B flat. Just with the 3rd on the bottom. The other way to look at this chord, if you were looking at it quite literally, you could say it is a minor 7 sharp 5. So we have D minor 7, sharp 5. Beautiful sound. Just spread out a little bit. So C minor 7. That's just the B major 7 with the 9, 13. Beautiful sound, but not minor. Accuracy, the whole scene, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I'm sure most middle school jazz bands sound pretty similar, especially at the beginning of working on something. Solid 8, I would say.
What do we play?
Thing about this scene that is super accurate is the ability to kind of go, oh wait, what is this? How does it go? You know, the band around you can just kind of be playing, and if you listen and if you really kind of focus on, okay, what's the bass player doing? What's the melody doing? What else is going on here? Contextually, you can kind of figure out a tune on the fly. Accuracy, I mean, this is 10 out of 10. This is exactly what happens in jam sessions a lot. You don't know necessarily what the tune is, or somebody calls a tune and you don't know it, and they're like, all right, cool, we're playing it anyways, so figure it out if you can. It's just something that you have to learn how to do over time. You just learn how to like hear things, listen very closely, and then respond, react, and figure out what's happening. With enough background and enough study, you start to understand context clues within music, and you can do exactly this. So yeah, in terms of accuracy, I would say 10 out of 10.
Sorry, I zoned out a little back there.
Get a suit, Teach. A good suit. Back here tonight, first show's at 9, sound checks at 7.
That's a cool scene. Probably wouldn't work like that in the real world, because as cool as the scene is, when he starts kind of getting into his own world, the reality is he stops paying attention to the group around him. And that's not good. As beautiful as it was, if I'm a band leader and somebody does that, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? Nobody cares how good it sounds. Like, that's fine, that's awesome, but there's a time and a place. And this would not be the time or the place in the middle of a tune, unless you had kind of decided beforehand that there was going to be a section like that or something. Playing wise, of just sort of having to pick it up and hear it, 10 out of 10. This being the thing that gets in the gig, 0 out of 10. I think a lot of band leaders would be like, okay, well, we're not hiring him again because that was weird, but it's a cool scene nonetheless. Next up, we have La La Land. J.K. Simmons again.
Yeah, I don't think you hear what I'm saying. You're fired.
Nice composition. The sort of main theme from La La Land was a very nicely done piece. This whole thing of like playing a song and getting fired for it, maybe that happens. I think the vibe at any place that was like that would be very palpable prior to this moment. Getting it to the point where you could play something and get fired, that seems unlikely to me. I think that's the type of situation where if I ever found myself in that situation, I probably would have felt out that vibe a long time ago, and I never would play at somewhere where I thought that was even remotely a possibility. Maybe this was the 40th time that they've told him to quiet down and he just keeps not bothering to do so, in which case he should be fired, because you have to understand the context in which you're playing.
I should probably tell you something now, just to get it out of the way. I hate jazz. Are you okay?
What do you mean you hate jazz?
Just means that when I listen to it, I don't like it.
Yeah, but it's such a blanket statement you don't like jazz.
I don't think I've really ever encountered many people who would outright be like, oh, I hate jazz. And I think part of that has a lot to do with how consumable music is today on such a wide spectrum, like with Spotify and the way that people are finding new genres and finding developments of genres that have stemmed out of things like jazz, the blending of jazz and hip hop together. I mean, all these things that have really sort of come to the forefront and are quite popular now. Well, he's right. I mean, it's a blanket statement. It doesn't mean anything. Generally, if somebody's saying that, they've never actually heard good jazz or the subgenre of jazz that's right for them.
What about Kenny G? I mean, what about elevator music? You know, jazz music that I know. Where I grew up, there was this station called K-Jazz 103, and people would just put on that station when they had a cocktail party.
Right.
And everyone would kind of just talk over it.
So I think that that's part of the problem is that you can't hear it. You know, you have to see it. You have to see what's at stake.
That's
I mean,
true.
Look at these fellas.
Side note, the music that's going on in the background here is, I think, pretty damn good. Like, it sounds great. We could hear a little piano solo going on there. Some good stuff happening there, absolutely. The only thing that's not accurate here is when she talks about Kenny G and, like, elevator jazz, and he goes, what about it? I don't know a single jazz musician that would say what about it without first explicitly stating that that's not jazz. And the points that she's bringing up, which is like people talking over it, like that's all true, you know. And I think the rule with jazz that's really important to remember is, like everything else, maybe 90+% of it is going to be stuff that you're not going to like, or stuff that maybe is to some level objectively not that great. You kind of just have to take that with a grain of salt and say, okay, well, I just have to find the stuff that's right for me. And I think that's true about any genre that people listen to regularly. I mean, most of it is not going to click with you, but there will be those things that can completely change your life. And the point about seeing it and being there in person, what's at stake? That's an interesting way to put that. I don't know if I've ever thought about it in that context, but whatever. But seeing it in person, I mean, that definitely changes people's opinion on it for sure, because there is just a different energy when you're in the room that doesn't always translate to the record that well.
The trumpet player, he's got his own idea. And so it's conflict and it's compromise and it's just, it's new every time. It's brand new every night.
Did you guys catch that? The conflict, compromise, and new had like a hit with the band, and it kind of emphasized the word a little bit. Listen to that one more time.
And so it's conflict and it's compromise and it's just, it's new every time.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but that's an interesting little thing that kind of emphasizes those words. I like that. That's neat. Trying to introduce somebody to the music is not always the easiest thing, especially if they have a preconceived notion that they don't like it. Yeah, I'd give this like an 8 out of 10 for accuracy. That's really good.
I have never been to a jazz club before.
Is this Spider-Man? I didn't know there was even scenes in Spider-Man that depicted jazz at all. The bad boy takes her to a jazz club. Oh my god. Okay, I can't wait to watch this.
Find us some shade. Thanks, out nice.
Oh no.
Double time. Thanks. Now dig on this.
Oh no. I can't watch, but I can't look away. Were people snapping on 1 and 3?
Now dig on this.
Oh no! So he's snapping on 2 and 4, but wait, look at the, look around the audience. We have, there's 2 and 4. We got a 1 and 3! Not a very competent audience. 10 out of 10 accuracy. Snaps are gonna be all over the place. This is fantastic. That is absolutely what a jazz club looks like. Yeah, that's just a few scenes depicting jazz in movies. By the way, if you wanna show up to a club and not do that, and actually know what you're doing, we have a whole academy that's actually meant to help you do just that. For real, right now, everything on the academy is 30% off using code MUSICTHEORY30. You can get the Intro to Piano course, which is 170 plus videos. It'll guide you from the very beginning on how to start figuring out this instrument. There's no experience necessary. It'll take you from 0 to something, and then that will start you on your journey, and you can go anywhere you want, including into our Intro to Improvisation course, which will help you kind of get the feel for removing the mysticism and the feeling of like, I don't know how to do that from improvisation. And once you get beyond that, we have a course all about how to understand and actually apply modes. All of that is available on the Cornell Music Academy right now. There's a link in the description. Use code MUSICTHEORY30 to get 30% off anything you want over there. We are constantly adding content to it. And once you're a member, you'll get access to the secret channels on my Discord server. Inside of those channels, every time we release new content, you're gonna get even crazier discounts. Get over there, become a member. Music Theory 30, 30% off the Cornell Music Academy. Link in the description. That's the best way you can support the channel. Thank you so much for everybody that has gone over there and purchased so far. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys get started on your musical journey. That is gonna do it for me today. What other scenes exist from popular movies depicting jazz? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching. I appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video.